Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
And I'm Ryan Haywood. Konami has just given the long-awaited Metal Gear Solid a release date of September 1st.
Hurrah!
And it also appears that day will bring the Metal Gear saga to a close.
Less exciting. And that's crazy, right? I mean, this is a series that's been going on since 1987's Metal Gear released on MSX2 and NES systems, and really, it pioneered the stealth genre of games. I mean, since its beginning, it's grown to include dozens of entries across several mediums, including video games, card games, animated graphic novels, comics, books, all those different things, radio dramas, and even maybe a movie someday if the project they announced back in 2006 ever sees the light of day.
And now, according to series creator Hideo Kojima, the Phantom Pain will finally wrap up the saga. In an interview with IGN, he said, "I always say this will be my last Metal Gear, but the games in this series that I've personally designed and produced, Metal Gear on MSX, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and 4, Peace Walker, and now Metal Gear Solid 5, are what constitute a single Metal Gear saga. With Metal Gear Solid 5, I'm finally closing the loop on that saga. In that sense, this will be the final Metal Gear Solid. Even if the Metal Gear franchise continues, this is the last Metal Gear."
Of course, and it's good that he notes this since, yes, he has said that before. In 2012, he said that Metal Gear Solid 2 was supposed to be the last game he worked on, but because things, quote, didn't go well on Metal Gear Solid 3's development, he had to step back in, and then again on Metal Gear Solid 4, and what do you know, now here we are at 5. So, Lawrence, why is he having such a hard time getting off this franchise?
Well, Konami hasn't been great about publishing console games, and I think they really don't know what works anymore. The one thing they do know works is Metal Gear, so they keep making them. They had a brief hit with Castlevania, but 2 didn't turn out that well, so that's gone. Basically, they've kind of run away from every one of their franchises, starting with like DDR back in the early 2000s. They're not really good at making AAA games anymore, and I think they know that. So if this goes away, that'll probably be it for them in the console space.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at their library over the last decade or so, every year it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Maybe they'll go to arcades, but for Kojima, I mean, look, he's been working on this for 28 years. I mean, you can't blame him for wanting to, wrap it up. I mean, he's worked almost exclusively on the Metal Gear franchise and all its sub-series for almost 3 decades.
Almost. He's been involved in other projects along the way, so let's not discount those. Do you remember Boktai? It was a Game Boy Advance game that had a light sensor in the cartridge that you had to charge up using sunlight. He was the producer on that one.
I had no idea that was him. I loved that game, and it seemed like such an optimistic attempt to get gamers to spend time outside. It's too bad the Game Boy Advance screen kind of didn't agree. He also created the Zone of the Enders franchise that had a few entries and was gonna get a new one. Well, that's what they announced back in 2012 anyway, but the next year he said that had been abandoned.
That's a shame too. At least we have the HD remaster of that.
Yes, and he did produce Castlevania Lords of Shadow.
And he's working on the upcoming Silent Hill with a horror movie and kaiju movie heavyweight Guillermo del Toro.
Still, 3 decades on a single franchise, that's getting, and the franchise itself is getting harder and harder to follow. I mean, sure, I get it, the internet loves Metal Gear, but I mean, isn't it about time it ends? Lawrence, what do you think?
Yes, absolutely, dear God. Just put it out the pasture. It was dumb that Metal Gear Solid 2. 3 was pretty good because it's a little more realistic, but in 4, you're just wandering around as an old man. I mean, seeing 2 ripped old dudes beat the shit out of each other on top of a robot was pretty cool, but let's be honest, we're not dealing with fine work of art here. It's done. It's over. Ground Zeroes had a girl that could plug headphones into her chest to listen to her own heart. That doesn't make any sense. Also, she blew up. Spoiler. Fuck you.
But have you seen all the new combat applications of cardboard boxes?
No, I don't care. Those were in 3 and 2. I'm done. Listen, boxes have been done. If the whole point of Metal Gear is to find new and interesting ways to cram cardboard boxes into games, it's done. It's over. It's a joke unto itself at this point. Just put it out.
Well, and even aside from the cardboard boxes, I guess, it's at that point now where the story is, I mean, look, it's tough for new people to get into this series because that storyline is just so complex and it jumps around a whole bunch. And with the industry the way it is now, look, it's tough to work on a series that's not bringing in a lot of new people.
Unless you have flowcharts. So you heard it here first. Time to get started on an HD remake of all 20-something games, or at least 11 main games. What else are you gonna do, Konami?
Well, what do you think of the Phantom Pain being the final game in the Metal Gear franchise? I mean, would you even want to see more games without Kojima's involvement? Give us your thoughts in the comments. You get the best in video games right here, so make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel, and we'll keep you in the know.
Oh, I just remembered. It was the boy that had the headphone jack, and the girl blew up. Oh, Lord, that's important, isn't it? Internet.